Action.
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 Action in China.
Action in China.
Action in China.
Coming up, APEC member economies have pledged to foster a shared future of peaceful, stable, dynamic, interconnected, and prosperous Asia-Pacific community. China's Singles Day just saw another record-breaking sales figure. Sales on Tmall on November 11 totaled about $25.3 billion. Hello and welcome to this edition of Economy Report. I'm Zhang Zhao in Beijing. Chinese President Xi Jinping has met with leaders of Vietnam, South Korea, Japan, the Philippines, and Chile on the sidelines of the 25th APEC Economic Leaders meeting in Vietnam's city of Da Nang.
President Xi met with Vietnamese Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan Phuc on Saturday, urging the two neighbors to extend the breadth and depth of their comprehensive strategic cooperation. Phuc said Vietnam cherishes the traditional friendship with China and hopes to enhance cooperation with China in economic and scientific fields. He also met with South Korean President Moon Jae-in on bilateral ties and the Korean Peninsula situation. Xi reiterated China's stance on the issue of the terminal high-altitude area defense. The two leaders also exchanged views on the Korean Peninsula situation. Xi told Moon that China sincerely hopes for the best for the peninsula and encourages South Korea to resume contact and dialogue with the Democratic People's Republic of Korea and restart cooperation for reconciliation. Also on Saturday, Xi met with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, urging Japan to take more practical actions to improve ties with China and properly manage differences between the two countries in a constructive way. Xi said to improve China-Japan ties, the key is mutual trust. China and Japan are cooperation partners, not threat to each other. Xi also met with Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte on strengthening bilateral ties. He said since Duterte's visit to China in October last year, bilateral ties have opened a new chapter. Meanwhile, Xi and his Chilean counterpart, Michelle Bachelet, witnessed the signing of a bilateral deal on upgrading the free trade agreement between the two countries. Xi underlined that this is China's first FTA upgrade completed with a Latin American country. Bachelet said the Chile-China relationship has made many firsts in the course of developing relations between Latin America and China, adding that her country will carry forward the pioneering spirit and advance the practical cooperation between the two sides.
Member economies from the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, or APEC, have pledged to foster a shared future of peaceful, stable, dynamic, interconnected, and prosperous Asia-Pacific community.
In a declaration issued after the APEC Economic Leaders Week, the 21 APEC economies said, quote, "We reaffirm our support for the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development as a framework for inclusive growth. The APEC economies are determined to advance economic, financial, and social inclusion, with a vision to build an inclusive, accessible, sustainable, healthy, and resilient APEC community by 2030. Against a backdrop of rising protectionism and deglobalization, they agreed to create new drivers for regional economic integration. APEC economies also said in a declaration that they remain committed to attaining the Bogor goals of free and open trade investment in Asia-Pacific region. Furthermore, APEC economies decided to work together to realize the potential of an internet and digital economy. Meanwhile, the declaration underlined APEC's crucial role in support of a rules-based, free, open, fair, transparent, and inclusive multilateral trading system. Established in 1989, APEC is Pacific Rim's premier economic forum aimed at supporting sustainable economic growth and prosperity in Asia-Pacific. APEC member countries accounted for some 60% of the world's GDP and 50% of global trade.
Members of the Trans-Pacific Partnership have agreed on a new framework to revive the proposed trade deal following the U.S. withdrawal earlier this year.
Meeting on the sidelines of the APEC summit in Vietnam, the remaining 11 nations released a joint statement saying they were committed to free and open trade. Canada had been accused of stalling. The country's delegation said labor and environmental rights would be crucial pillars of a new agreement, but added that a lot of work still needs to be done. The 11 trade ministers have agreed on core elements of the pact, which is from now on called the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, or CPTPP. This was remarked in a joint statement issued on November 11th. The ministers agreed not to make amendments to the original text, but freeze the implementation of some clauses to ensure balance and the quality of the document in a new context. They said the CPTPP is a comprehensive and high-standard agreement on the basis of balancing interests of its member countries with regard to their development levels.
The UK and the EU have concluded the sixth round of Brexit talks in Brussels, but both sides failed to bring the long-anticipated progress in the latest talks, giving rise to increasing fear of a no-deal scenario through Europe.
Time is ticking, but the deadlock remains.
The discussions have taken place at the time between two European Council meetings, a moment of deepening of discussion clarifications, at the time of technical work. We are determined in this moment to try and reach an agreement in time. Only sufficient progress, that is, sincere and real progress on the three key topics of this negotiation, will enable the second phase of our negotiation to begin.
The three key issues are citizens' rights, a financial settlement, and the Irish border.
And now is the time for both sides to move together to seek solutions. This is a serious business. So if we're to find a way forward, it will require flexibility and pragmatism from both sides, as I think Michel also stressed.
The two-day talks coincidentally marked the halfway point for Brexit. 505 days since the referendum and 505 days until Britain should formally leave the EU. It was tasked to make preparation for the EU Winter Summit in December. Media reported that the EU handed Britain a 2-week ultimatum to make concessions on the divorce agreement if it wants to unlock the next phase of talks in December.
A London-based think tank estimated the British economy grew by 0.5% in the 3 months to the end of October, the second consecutive month in which the rolling 3-month rate accelerated.
The National Institute for Economic and Social Research notched up its GDP growth rate by 0.1 percentage point from the 0.4% estimate for growth in September. In a forecast, the think tank said that economic growth is likely to be stronger in the second half of this year compared with the first. However, British economic activity had slowed since last year at a time when growth in other developed economies, such as the Eurozone and the United States, had strengthened. In the meantime, figures from the Office of National Statistics said the British trade deficit has narrowed more strongly than expected thanks to an export boost due to weak sterling. But economists say the overall figures are still disappointing.
The International Monetary Fund and the Egyptian authorities have reached a staff-level agreement on the second review of Egypt's economic reform program. The program will finalize granting Egypt $2 billion. Econ Report has more.
The IMF said on Friday that the staff-level agreement is subject to approval by its executive board completion. Upon the approval, Egypt is expected to receive the third tranche of $2 billion of the 3-year loan. The IMF added that the agreement on a second review reaffirmed authorities' commitment to their reform program. Egypt agreed to a 3-year $12 billion IMF loan program in November. The program is tied to economic reforms such as subsidy cuts, tax hikes, enacting the value-added tax, as well as the devaluation of its local currency. Egypt received an initial $2.75 billion loan from the IMF last November.
Known as China's Singles' Day, November 11 has become an online shopping spree since 2009. And this year's Singles' Day just saw another record-breaking sales figure. Economy Report has the details.
At just 3 minutes past midnight on Saturday, China's Singles' Day sales on Alibaba's Tmall hit 10 billion yuan, or about $1.5 billion US. Alibaba said total sales on Tmall on November the 11th reached a record of 168.2 billion yuan, or about $25.3 billion US. Double 11 is not only online in China, but is now cross-border and in brick-and-mortar stores.
This year's Double 11 not only embodies a big trend of consumption upgrade, but reflects the whole society's cooperation. It is a worldwide social synergy event. The synergy involves online and offline retail, and home and abroad as well.
He added that over 1 million retailers worldwide have registered both online and offline stores to participate in the promotion. According to Alibaba, as of 1 a.m. Saturday, transactions has been made in 201 countries and regions, including Japan, the United States, Australia, Germany, and the Republic of Korea.
Sales from 17 companies surpassed 500 million yuan, and 6 companies' sales exceeded 1 billion yuan in just 24 hours. It is amazing. Companies have entered a new historic stage with the integration of Internet.
Known as China's Singles' Day, November the 11th has become an online shopping spree since 2009, when Alibaba's Tmall made its first online sales promotion. The shopping day is becoming bigger in scale, given JD.com, Kala.com, and other cross-border e-commerce platforms came to share the big online shopping cake.
Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba announced that it has used unmanned aerial vehicles, commonly known as drones, to deliver packages over water for the first time.
3 drones carrying a total 6 boxes of passion fruit with a combined weight of around 12 kilograms flew from Putian in East China's Fujian province to nearby Meizhou Island on October the 31st. Flying into a strong wind, the drones took 9 minutes to make the 5-kilometer crossing. Each one can carry up to 7 kilograms. Alibaba is planning to use drones to deliver high value-added products such as fresh food and medical supplies over water in the future. Using drones to deliver packages has increased in recent years. Another Chinese e-commerce platform, JD.com, started conducting trial deliveries using drones in 2016.
Inspired by the highly successful Singles' Day shopping spree in China, many of Norway's online retailers also launched sales promotion to celebrate the day. Take a closer look.
Komplett, the biggest online retailer in Norway, launched the Single Days campaign that offered discounts on all the products on its website. Norway's online newspapers and many Norwegian online players have focused on the Singles' Day and believed this may be the start of something big also in the Nordic country. The newspaper also published a long list of various e-retailers that offer discounted products for Single Days campaign. Power, one of Norway's leading consumer electronics retail chains, said it has decided to celebrate Singles' Day this year and turn it into Singles Weekend. All promotional products will last until Sunday. However, the emergent Singles' Day sales campaign in Norway has not been confined to online space. Lefdal, one of Norway's biggest electronics and household appliance stores, launched a massive Single Days campaign both online and in its bricks-and-mortar stores. November 11th has been celebrated as China's Singles' Day since the 1990s. China's largest online retailer Alibaba introduced the Singles' Day shopping event in 2009, and it has grown to become one of the world's biggest shopping spree.
With more than 40 containers on it, the cargo train bound for Chinese inland city of Xi'an departed Kouvola in southeastern Finland on Friday.
It will take 17 days to run 9,000 kilometers to cross the Eurasia continent, passing through countries including Russia and Kazakhstan before reaching its final destination of northwest China's Xi'an. Compared with the normal sea freight, the cargo rail line can shorten the travel time by 30 days. Goods packed in the containers are all made in Finland, ranging from machinery, timber, workwear to ship components. As planned, a total of 5 trains would run between Kouvola and Xi'an by the end of this year. At the same time, a train would depart Xi'an towards Kouvola every week. Ambassador of Kazakhstan to Finland reminded the achievements of the Belt and Road Initiative.
In long-term perspective, it should be a vast platform aimed at bringing many nations together, expanding cultural exchanges, as well as making solid our educational, scientific and technological ties.
Cambodia and China signed a memorandum of understanding on e-commerce cooperation on Friday with the aim of assisting Cambodia to develop its online business operations.
The deal was inked between Cambodian Commerce Ministry Secretary of State and Chinese Vice Minister of Commerce in Phnom Penh. China says under the MOU, the two countries will step up e-commerce cooperation under the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, especially under the Belt and Road Initiative. China is Cambodia's largest trading partner and investor. E-commerce refers to the purchase of goods and services via our online system, which would bring a lot of new business opportunities for young entrepreneurs in Cambodia and undoubtedly contribute to its national economic growth. Cambodian Commerce Ministry Under Secretary of State said online business operations in Cambodia have grown rapidly in recent years thanks to the increasing numbers of internet users. However, the Southeast Asian nation has not yet had a law on e-commerce. According to Cambodia's Telecommunications Authority, over 8 million of Cambodia's 15 million people have now access to the internet, most of whom get online via smartphones.
Mobile payment is regarded as one of the new 4 great inventions in China. Nowadays, e-business companies have marched to Southeast Asian markets and bring the efficiency to these places.
GCash, which is called Alipay's Philippines version, is introduced to Glorieta, a mall located in the CBD of Manila on November 11th. It is the first time for a mall to use QR payments in the Philippines. GCash owns over 5 million users around the country. Using QR payments has become a fashion for consumers in the Philippines. And financial services acquire some shares of GCash. The system is benefiting from Chinese technological and financial support. Although GR payments have not yet gained a large scale of popularity in the Philippines, the concept of mobile payments has penetrated in the daily life of the public.
More economic news from China. Up first, the country's commercial bank's bad loan ratio remained unchanged in the third quarter amid the government's strengthened efforts to rein in risks.
Data from the banking regulator showed the non-performing loan or NPL ratio of commercial banks stood at 1.74% at the end of September, flat with the previous quarter. The China Banking Regulatory Commission said as of September, outstanding bad loans from commercial banks amounted to 1.67 trillion yuan or about $251.8 billion. The NPL ratio declined for the first time since 2012 to the current level in the last quarter of 2016. An encouraging sign for an economy plagued by piling debt. China's fiscal revenue rose 9.2% year-on-year to 15 trillion yuan or $2.27 trillion during the January to October period. According to the Ministry of Finance, the growth slightly retreated from the growth of 9.7% in the first 3 quarters, but was markedly above the 4.5% rate in 2016. In October alone, fiscal revenue was up 5.4% to 1.62 trillion yuan. China promised a more proactive and effective fiscal policy last year with a fiscal deficit set at 3% of GDP or 2.4 trillion yuan, up 200 billion yuan from 2016. Sales of new energy vehicles in China more than doubled in October, while overall auto sales grew steadily. The China Association of Automobile Manufacturers, or COM, said Friday that some 92,000 new energy vehicles were produced in October, up 85.9% year-on-year. Total auto sales remained stable, with some 2.7 million vehicles sold last month, up 2% year-on-year. But growth slowed from the 5.7% growth in September. In the first 10 months of the year, auto output and sales increased by 4.3% and 4.1% year-on-year, respectively. The robust growth came as China has intensified efforts to encourage the use of new energy vehicles to ease pressure on the environment.
The Indian government has stepped up its efforts to attract foreign investors, particularly in India's fast-growing food and agribusiness processing industry. CNC's correspondent in New Delhi reports more on this from the recently concluded World Food India.
Aiming to transform the food economy, India has recently convened its first ever World Food India Expo in a grand fashion. The three-day event was mainly aimed at providing investment opportunities in India's burgeoning food processing sector to investors worldwide. Being a partner country, Denmark has brought technologies to address India's logistic problems. Over a dozen of Danish companies have confirmed their investment uptake in the sector, which is marred by high transportation cost. The Indian government has vowed to lower the transportation cost in order to make Indian products more competitive in global markets. In addition, other sectors in food and agribusiness have garnered attention from Australia, Japan, and Europe, among others. World's biggest retailer Walmart has already been present in India with 21 cash-and-carry stores dealing with 1 million Indian customers. The giant retailer was also looking upbeat about the growing food consumption in India. Increasing urbanization, growing number of middle class, and rising disposable incomes are fueling the demand for wholesome and processed food in India. Food processing industry in the country has been growing in double digits in recent years, making the sector among high-profit yielding industries. Over the last 5 years, exports of processed food grew at an annual rate of over 11%. The $600 billion food retail sector in India is expected to triple by 2020. In order to tap this immense potential, the Indian government is setting up 42 mega food parks for processing industries across the country.
That's all for this edition of Economy Report. For more news and highlights, please visit our website, yan.cncnews.cn. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.
云天无际，承载梦想。中国南方航空是中国运输飞机最多、航线网络最发达、年客运量最大的航空公司。亚洲第一，全球第三，是南航缔造的业界奇迹。蓝天壮志情，云海普华章。
同心地产，芝加哥最大的华人中介团队，无论是家居或是商业地产，给你带来全方位的最佳服务。
专业的团队，丰厚的经验。
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to the Lake Cook Law Group.
投资理财、法律咨询，芝加哥专业律师团队为您的梦想提供最安全的保障。
Chinese channel, 小小中文 Lesson 18. In this lesson, we will be teaching you the 6 Chinese characters. From our last lesson, we learned the character 少. If we add up 2 sides of a triangle, this character is 勾. 勾 means hook. 勾号 Go hao means hook. These 2 characters contain go. If we remove these 2 strokes and put a dot in the upward stroke, this character is 云 means even. 均匀 均匀means even or well distributed. Remove these two strokes and add 2 down strokes to the left. This makes 勿means do not. 勿吸烟 means no smoking. Next, we'll learn a new root character. What's this? 门 means door. 开门 means to open the door. What happens if we put a 口 in the middle of 门? 问 means to ask. 问路 means to ask for directions. Next, we'll learn a new root character. What's this? 万 means 10,000. 1万 means 10,000. Okay, it's time to write. When you're writing, remember to follow the stroke sequence. Go. 云 雾 王 望 万 Bye-bye, the lesson is done.